Good morning. We're going to begin a brand new study, and you're going to have a variety this year of devotions. I'm going to be covering the life of Christ, and not in a typical way. We're going to begin at the very beginning of the life of Christ. Many of you ladies are familiar with this. You probably have heard, maybe in the past. When is your baby due? Anytime now. It can't be too soon for me. 9 months. Can't sit, stand, or walk, but you walk and you must. The governor just called for a census to be taken. Can't you imagine what was going on in the mind of Mary and Joseph? This new life would actually be an old life, transporting through the doorway of human existence. When did it all begin for the baby that we call Jesus Christ? If you go to the book of Genesis, and hopefully you've read that chapter, and we're going to be referring a lot to some of the chapters in the beginning, but it says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God, and all things were made through him, and without him was not anything made that was made. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness does not overcome it. Our involvement with him at the beginning, he is called the Word. This expression not only referred to the spoken word, but also the unspoken word. Often the word was still in the mind of an individual. We would call that your reasoning ability. The Greeks saw the word applying to a rational principle that governs all things. The Jews used it as an idea and a way to refer to God or an expression of God. Right off the bat, we see the word's activities. He is God. He is not a God. He is God. He is the Creator. And when we look at the fact that Jesus was a Creator, the Father was there as the source, the Holy Spirit was there carrying out the activities that he was involved in. All three of them worked together, but Jesus was the creative hand of God. Job was told by God, if I can say this, by Jesus, in Job 38, something about creation. He said, "Where were you when I laid the foundation of the earth? Tell me if you have understanding. Who determined its measurements? Surely you know. Who stretched out the line upon it? Or what were its bases sunk? Or who laid the cornerstone? When the morning stars sang together, and all the sons of God shouted for joy, or shut the sea with doors when it burst out from the womb, when I made the clouds as a garment, as a thick covering, its swaddling band, and prescribed limits for it, it set bars and doors. And he said, thus far shall you come, and no farther. And here your proud waves stayed. Have you commanded the morning since your days began, or caused the dawn to know its place, that it might take hold of the skirts of the earth, and the wicked be shaken out of it? A beautiful, beautiful picture of Jesus creating, and on a smaller scale for us to understand. He is the source of life and light. Genesis 1 and 2 tells us that the origin of the heavens and the earth was formless, empty, and dark. Genesis 1, verses 3 through 5, when light came upon the earth, and I'm not talking about sunlight. Sunlight doesn't come until the fifth day, came upon the earth. Jesus was the creator, and he spoke everything into existence. According to what Jesus says, faith is a verbal exercise, not a mental process. Faith is the size of a mustard seed, can move a mountain if used. Hebrews 11, The great faith chapter tells us that if we accept creation by faith, because faith created it, it was spoken into existence. Oh, what kind of world have you created? Just listen. Close your eyes and listen. What does your faith sound like? If your world is full of darkness, despair, anger, resentment, negativity, is it not your words that are creating the world that you live in? His world is light. A negative Christian is actually a contradiction. What should I sound like? Hold on as we spend a year finding out how we are to sound, how are we to act as we study the life of Christ. The life of Christ begins not with the baby, but with eternity. And before the beginning of time, we must ask ourselves, just how big is your Jesus?